Hi all, in this video let's detect the dark or the light theme, whether what is the user has the preferences with the help of the CSS, JavaScript and ReactJS. So it's not combined. So with how a CSS can detect the dark and light theme, how the JavaScript can detect, how the React can detect. We can learn all the three ways of detecting the dark or the light themes. So before going to this video, I want to share you one point here. So this is a normal application. So in this application, if you see, I'm in a dark mode. If I click this, I'm navigating, I'm changing this to the light mode. So entire theme, every font, everything was modified. So this is the light mode. If I click this, this is changing to the dark mode. This is within the application level. So this button is available in this application. So what happens? This application will have control over this toggle button, whether the user is in a dark mode or whether he's liking to switch to the dark mode or a light mode. So the control is available to this application. So within the application, it would be the logic for this would be within this application. But what we are learning now is if the user is going to modify the system configurations, okay, at a high level, if he wants to modify the settings, so in the mobile apps or the uh, Windows apps or whatever the apps, okay, apps or websites. So if you modify the system configurations, those apps should reflect back those same changes. For example, in my OS, so let me show you that. So if I want this light mode or the dark mode, this is a system level configurations. If I modify this to the light mode, I'm in a light mode. If I click this, see, entire all things were modified to the dark mode. Clear? Like this, if I modify this and if I open the any of the applications, those applications should come in the dark mode, not in the light mode, because my system settings are set in a dark mode. So whatever the application, whatever the app I open, they should be open in the dark mode. So then your application needs to understand what is the system configuration set. Okay, based on that, it needs to reflect back the theme changes, right? So that is what we are learning here. Clear? In the modern world, apps and websites, everything they have started providing the dark theme as well, because it is getting more popular than the light theme. So that's the reason we need to understand how to detect the system theme. Okay, based on that, your application should be reflecting back the theme. So let's see that. So firstly, we'll learn that with the help of the CSS. In the CSS, okay, we'll have this at the rate media, right? So we have at the rate media, and with this at the rate media, we have a property called prefers color scheme. Prefers color scheme. So this is the property. If this is dark, okay, it means if the your system settings are dark, then I will modify my body level configurations. So let me change the color to the it is dark, right? So let me make the color as a white, and the background color should be, that should be the black, right? I'm modifying the background color to the black. So now in the system configurations, if I set the to the dark mode, so then this query would be executed. When you load this application, this query would be executed and you will be getting a dark theme in your application. So the same thing I will do here. I'm copy pasting. So if you have the light theme, so you need to modify the prefers color scheme to the light. Okay, and now I will modify this to the black. Okay, and I will modify. So in order to have a good understanding, let me keep this yellow and let me keep this red. Okay, now when this internally here, you can keep whatever the theme changing logic can be kept here. Okay, if it is dark mode, what all the themes should be applied to your application can be kept inside this logic. But this is what you need to use. Fine. So let's see the output once. So here, let me show you the output. So I'm modifying this. I got white text and yellow background. Why? Because my code is like dark mode. The system settings is in dark mode. So that's the reason these changes were applied. I got the text in white and the background in an yellow. So let me change the system configurations. So I'm modifying the system configurations from dark to the light. So everything, see, every application or everything was modified into the light mode. So now my application should understand it is a, see, it was automatically detected and it is able to show this in a light mode. So the reason behind this is in the light mode, we ask the text should be in the black and the background should be the red. So this is how you can detect the system configuration level changes related to the dark mode or the light mode, and you can keep all your theme changes inside this logic. So this is with respect to the CSS. So let's learn the same thing with respect to the JavaScript. Okay, I've commented this, the CSS part. Now let's learn the same thing with the JavaScript. I have taken one just one h2 text and have given some ID. This is because in order to keep the text which theme we have selected. Okay, now let me take a constant element and let me tell this as a document dot get element by ID, and I will give the ID theme mode. Okay, now let's see how we could able to implement the same in the JavaScript. So for the in case of JavaScript, we have the same the feature of would be the same. So let me show you like dark theme MQ. Let me explain why I kept the name as MQ. This is a media query, dark theme media query. Now, while you are dealing the same thing with the JavaScript, we need to understand there is a property called window dot match media. So we are trying to match our media. So this is a method. So in this method will return you a media query list. So that is what we are taking, that media query list in this dark theme media query. Okay, it will return you an object that is known as a media query list. In this object, you will be having a property called matches. Through this matches property only, we'll be able to achieve this. Fine. So now let's see this in this method what we need to give. So let me give one thing. I'm giving this in a flower base, and later on I need to start this with a prefers color scheme. So this is what I need to give, and I'm giving this as a dark. Okay, I'm giving this as a dark. So now this object will be available in this dark theme. Okay, I'm adding an event listener to this. The reason behind I'm adding the event listener is once you change the theme, so this method would be triggered. If not, this method will not trigger, right? So that is the reason what we are doing is we are trying to modify the event listener. So I'm added an add event listener here. Inside this will be having an event will be triggered, and inside this what we are going to do is we are going to verify whether this event, so as I said, there is a matches property. So this matches property, if it is written true, so if it is returning true, it means we are in a dark mode. If it returns false, it means we are in a light mode. So now we can write whatever the logic we want, you can write here. So here what I will keep is just I will keep the element dot inner html. So I will keep the element dot inner html. I will say this the theme as dark. Okay, now the same thing I will keep, while in the else case it would be the light mode. Okay, so this is what we kept. Clear? So if you want to modify some colors, whatever the theme changes, when you want to do some logical operations, you can do, or if you want to modify the theme of this, you also can do that with the respect to the document dot get element by id again, and I'm taking the id of this container. So based on this I can modify the colors. So I'm taking the container id here, and here I can set the style, I can set the background color. So I'm setting the background color to the blue. So whatever the color you want, you can keep that here, and I'm copying pasting the same thing here. I will keep one other color. Let's say that as a right. Okay, fine. These are the changes. So these changes are needed if you're working with the JavaScript. So now here what we did with the help of this window dot match media, and we have given this prefers color scheme and dark. So it returns an object that is a media query list object, and we are attaching an event listener to this. Whenever the theme was changed, so from the dark to the light or light to the dark, this event would be triggered, and it is verifying with the matches property. If it is true, it means it is a dark mode. It will go inside this. If it is false, it will go inside this. So let's see that. So let me go back here. So let's show the output once. So now see, it is nothing. So let me modify here to the light mode. So I'm modifying already it is in the light mode. So I will modify this to the dark mode. So I have modified this to the dark mode. So it means this was matched now. So let me show it dark. The theme was dark and we got the blue color. Okay. Now let me change it again, the theme to the light mode. So now let's check the output. See, it is in the light mode. So the theme is light and the background came as a red. So this is how you need to achieve in the JavaScript. So what is how to detect the theme and how to do your logic based on the theme with the respect to the JavaScript. This is how we need to do. So coming to the React. So let's learn how we need to do this in the React.js. So in the React.js, firstly, let me create one more component here. So I'm creating a component. I'm naming that as a use theme detector. Okay, this is a component name I'm giving. So this can be considered as a hook as well. Okay, the reason behind this is I kept this as a use prefix, so you can use this as a hook. Now what I'm doing is here I'm taking a variable constant get match media. So firstly what I want to do is I want to make sure what is the media. So it means what is it a dark or a light theme? What is the media? So for that what I can do the same thing, window dot media match, and the same thing what we have done there, the same thing we'll be doing. We'll use a prefers color scheme. Now I will keep this as a dark. Clear? I kept this as a dark. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I will take a state. So I need to modify the state, right? Whenever the theme was modified, I need to modify the state so that I can re-render this component once again to show the changes. So that's the reason what I'm doing. I'm taking one state is dark theme. So this is the state. So set is dark theme. So this is the state I'm using. So now I need to use use state here. So as soon as I use the use state, okay, use state was imported already. So now what I do is I do get match media. I'm giving the default value of get match media dot matches. So the reason why I'm giving like this is this will return the window dot match media. This will return an object. The object is a media query object. In that object, in this, that object would be stored. In that dot matches, I'm checking. Okay, now if this is true, it means we are in a dark mode. If it is not true, it means we are in a not dark mode. Okay, now in with the help of the use effect. So let me do this. I'm using the use effect here. So fine. I want this use effect to be run only once. So that's the reason I kept this empty dependency array. So once I do this, what I will be doing is constant mq. This is a media query mq, the variable name. So I'm calling this get match media. I'm calling this method. So this method will return an object for me. And later on, what I will do is I'm adding an event listener. So once the event was triggered, I need to do something. So that's the reason I'm adding an event listener. Add event listener. To this event listener, we need to pass two parameters. I'm passing one as a which event it is and what is the event handler method. Okay, event handler method is media mq listener. So this is the event handler. So it means a method which handles this event. So I'm writing that event now. Okay, media query mq listener. So this is a event handler. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking this event inside this event. Let me keep set is dark mode. So the event, whatever you doing, that event dot matches. So we are setting the state. So based upon the event. So if you modify your theme, okay, what we are doing, we are changing. It means this media query was modified. So we are adding an event listener. Once you modify the system configurations, this media query would be triggered and we are modifying the state and we are keeping this whether it is true or false. Okay, if it is matches to the dark, it is true. If it is not matches to the dark, it is false. So that's what we are doing. Okay, now later on what we need to do is inside here. So whenever you add an event listener, so not only here in the JavaScript also, whenever you add any of the event listener, then it's our responsibility to uh, uncheck that listener. So it means we need to remove that event listener. So for example, that I will show here in the React. So we need to have this written. So with respect to this return, we can remove mq dot remove event listener. So this is what we need to use, remove event listener. This is what it means. We are removing this event, the same event, and you need to give the same. What is a listener? You need to give the same listener. So we are removing the event listener. So once an event was created, it's our responsibility to remove that event. Okay. So this is what we need to do. Okay. Now this is a use effect. Now I can, once this is done, this method, so let me return back. So whoever calls this, so yes, it is here. Oh, sorry, I need to give this inside this use effect. I need to call this inside this use effect. Here it should be. This return means now the use effect will be working as a component will unmount. If you give this return, it will act as a component unmount. And when the component is unmounting, we are removing the event listener. So once all our task was done here, so let's return back whatever we have here. So let's return this as is dark theme. So we are returning back the state of this variable. Fine, this is our hook. So what this hook is going to do is whenever whoever uses this hook, okay, it is trying to match the theme, okay, it is using the state, what is the respective theme, and it has an event handler. So once this is modified, once the hook was modified, so it is going to trigger this event handler and it is going to set its state. So this is what happens, and whoever calls this, it is going to return back the current state, whether it is true or false. So now let's use this hook. Okay, now here how we'll be using this, I'm using this as a constant is dark theme equal to, I will use this use theme detector. So this is the hook I'm using. So when I use this hook, so it is what it is going to return, it is going to return whether the theme is dark or not. So let's use that here. I'm taking a p tag. Let me take a p tag. Inside this p tag, the current theme, so I'm using here current theme, and I can use this dark theme. If the dark theme is true, so if this is true, let me say this as a dark theme. Okay. If it is false, we need to take this as a light theme. Okay. So just we are printing whether the theme is dark or not. Okay. You can do whatever the action based upon this theme variable. You can do apply your business logic here. This is how you need to detect in the React.js. So let me show you that output as well. So this is what they React. So now see, the current theme is in light mode. Okay, now what we can do is for this, so let me change this to the dark mode. I'm changing this to the dark mode, and let me go back to the React. So here see, current theme is dark mode. So this is how you can detect what is the dark mode or the light mode which the user is preferring, so that you can prefer here. Okay, this is what, and apart from this, you can also have a way to simulate this. So how not only just modifying that at the system configuration level. So this is a system preferences. So from where you will be getting this is from the Mac, you can have system preferences. If you click the system preferences, so this is what the system preferences you will be getting. So in this, you need to go to the general options. In this general options, you will be having these options. The same will be having for the Windows machine also. So you no need to modify these light or dark modes in the Mac or in the Windows system. So you can also simulate the same thing in the browser. For example, how to simulate that? Let me show here in the developer tool. I'm clicking here, and in the more tools, I'm going here. Under this, I will go to the render part. So I will search for the render. Yeah, this is a render. Okay. In the render part, so I'm making this a bit. So instead of modifying at the system level, system configurations level, you can do the same thing in the browser developer tools as well. So here, if you come here, go down under the rendering. So see here, emulate CSS media feature, prefers colors scheme. So this is what we need. So now I'm making this as a light. See, it was modified at the top. If I change this to the dark, it has modified. See, in this way also you can use this. You can simulate it and you can use the same way. Fine. So hope you understand the video. Thanks for watching. And also we have a channel, YouTube channel, Creative Thinking UI, where we used to discuss about the JavaScript, React.js, and all the front-end development stuff. So have a look at this. If you like the videos, like and subscribe for the channel and stay tuned. Thanks for watching.